In today's world, success seems to be the ultimate measure of a person's worth. We grow up hearing phrases like, study hard to get a good job, make more money to live a happy life, and achieve more so people will respect you. But if success is truly the key to happiness, why do so many wealthy, famous, and powerful individuals still feel empty inside? Society glorifies entrepreneurs, celebrities, and influencers as symbols of achievement. Yet, if we look deeper into their lives, many struggle with stress, anxiety, and even depression. People spend their entire lives chasing wealth and recognition, only to realize that happiness is not found at the peak of their careers, but may have been lost along the way. The Buddha once said, "Health is the greatest gift, contentment the greatest wealth." However, modern society teaches the opposite. Instead of cultivating inner peace, we are conditioned to believe that acquiring more will eventually lead to fulfillment. But what if this belief is flawed? What if true happiness doesn't come from having more, but from learning to be at peace with what already is? At TT-Buddhism, we believe that happiness is not a reward for success. It is a state of mind that can be cultivated through mindfulness, gratitude, and a deeper understanding of life's purpose. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that the happiest people are not those who have the most, but those who appreciate what they already have. Instead of attaching happiness to external achievements, they find joy in the present moment. So why doesn't success guarantee happiness? Why do the happiest people not chase success the way society tells us to? And how can we find true contentment without being trapped by the endless pursuit of wealth and status? Join TT-Buddhism as we explore Buddhist teachings to uncover the answers to these questions and discover the path to genuine happiness. Why chasing success doesn't bring happiness. One of the greatest misconceptions in modern society is the belief that happiness comes from achieving more. More money, more recognition, more power. From a young age, we are taught that success leads to fulfillment, so we set goals, work tirelessly, and push ourselves to climb higher. Yet no matter how much we accomplish, it never seems to be enough. Buddhism describes this cycle as tanha, or craving, an endless desire for more. The problem with craving is that it keeps happiness forever in the future, always out of reach. Imagine a man who tells himself, "Once I make $1 million, I'll be happy." When he reaches that goal, he doesn't feel satisfied, so he sets his sights on 10 million, then 100. No matter how much he gains, he is always looking ahead, never feeling at peace. This is why so many people who appear successful on the outside still struggle with stress, anxiety, or even depression. Their happiness is tied to the next achievement, making it impossible to fully enjoy the present moment. The Buddha taught that true contentment is impossible if we attach our well-being to external success. A well-known Buddhist story illustrates this idea through a wealthy merchant who sought wisdom from a monk. The merchant had everything, money, success, influence, but still felt empty inside. He asked the monk, "Why do I feel this way, even though I have everything I ever wanted?" The monk responded by pouring tea into a cup, continuing to pour even after it was full. The tea overflowed onto the table, and the merchant quickly exclaimed, "Stop! The cup is already full." The monk smiled and said, "Just like this cup, your life is already full, yet you keep trying to pour more into it. Until you stop chasing more, you will never appreciate what you have." The lesson is clear. Success is not the problem, but attachment to success is. If we constantly chase after more, believing happiness lies in the next milestone, we will never find peace. The key is to recognize that fulfillment comes from within, not from external achievement. Does this mean we should stop striving for improvement? Not at all. The difference lies in how we pursue our goals, whether we are obsessed with success or whether we work with a sense of inner peace and detachment from the outcome. In the next section, we will explore this balance through the Buddhist concept of right effort, working hard without being controlled by the desire for success. The difference between healthy effort and attachment to success. We often hear that hard work leads to success, and success leads to happiness. But is that really true? Many people push themselves to the limit, sacrificing sleep, relationships, and even their health in pursuit of their goals. They tell themselves, "Once I reach the top, I'll finally be happy." But what happens when they get there? They often realize that the happiness they were chasing feels fleeting, and soon they are setting new, even higher goals. It becomes an endless cycle, one where peace is always just out of reach. Buddhism teaches a different way, right effort, or contentment. It is the idea that we should work hard, but without being attached to the outcome. This doesn't mean we should stop striving for improvement. Rather, it means we should approach our efforts with a sense of peace instead of desperation. Think about two people climbing a mountain. The first person is obsessed with reaching the peak. Every step feels like a struggle because all they can think about is getting to the top. If they face obstacles, they grow frustrated. If they don't reach their goal, they feel like a failure. The second person also wants to reach the top, but they embrace the journey. They appreciate the fresh air, the beauty of the trees, the feeling of each step beneath their feet. They learn from the challenges rather than resenting them. Whether they reach the peak or not, they already feel fulfilled. This is the key difference. When we are too attached to success, we make our happiness conditional. I will be happy when I get the promotion. I will be happy when I have more money. I will be happy when I achieve this goal. But happiness doesn't work that way. If we cannot find joy in the process, we will not find joy in the destination. The Buddha taught that suffering does not come from effort itself, but from attachment to success. If we believe our worth is defined by our achievements, we become prisoners of our own desires. But if we pursue our goals with inner peace, we free ourselves from suffering. So the real question is not, should I work hard, but why am I working hard? Are you climbing the mountain because you believe happiness is waiting at the top? Or are you climbing it because you genuinely love the journey? The answer can change everything. The secret to finding happiness without chasing success. We often believe that happiness will come once we have more money, more recognition, more achievements. But what if the key to happiness is not having more, but appreciating what we already have? In Buddhism, this is known as santosha, or contentment. It doesn't mean we should stop growing or improving ourselves, but it does mean we should stop thinking that happiness exists somewhere else. If we are always looking ahead, believing that we will be happy once we reach a certain point, we miss the opportunity to be happy now. Imagine two people with the same amount of wealth. One is constantly comparing themselves to others, thinking, I need more, I'm not successful enough. The other wakes up every day and thinks, I have enough, and I am grateful. Who do you think feels happier? The truth is, happiness is not about how much we have. It's about how we see what we have. A wise monk once told a young man, you say you will be happy when you have more, but if you cannot be happy now, you will not be happy then. This is a powerful truth that many people spend their whole lives trying to realize. So how can we cultivate contentment in our daily lives? There are 3 simple but profound ways. First, gratitude. Instead of focusing on what we lack, we should take time to appreciate what we already have. Even in difficult times, there is always something to be grateful for. Second, mindfulness. Practicing presence instead of always looking ahead to the next goal. When we slow down and truly experience the present moment, we realize that joy is available to us right now. Third, simplicity. Letting go of unnecessary desires and focusing on what truly matters. When we constantly crave more, our minds become restless. But when we simplify our lives and focus on the essentials, we create space for peace and happiness. The irony of life is that when we stop chasing success and instead focus on meaning, joy, and purpose, success often follows naturally. Think of a great artist who paints not for fame but for love, a teacher who inspires not for recognition but for passion, a monk who owns nothing yet radiates peace. These people may achieve great things, but not because they were chasing success, rather because they were living in alignment with their true purpose. And maybe that is the real secret. When we let go of the need to prove ourselves to the world, we finally become free to live fully and joyfully. The irony of life is that when we stop chasing success and instead focus on meaning, joy, and purpose, success often follows naturally. Think of a great artist who paints not for fame but for love, a teacher who inspires not for recognition but for passion, a monk who owns nothing yet radiates peace. These people may achieve great things, but not because they were chasing success, rather because they were living in alignment with their true purpose. And maybe that is the real secret. When we let go of the need to prove ourselves to the world, we finally become free to live fully and joyfully. The irony of life is that when we stop chasing success and instead focus on meaning, joy, and purpose, success often follows naturally. Think of a great artist who paints not for fame but for love, a teacher who inspires not for recognition but for passion, a monk who owns nothing yet radiates peace. These people may achieve great things, but not because they were chasing success, rather because they were living in alignment with their true purpose. And maybe that is the real secret. When we let go of the need to prove ourselves to the world, we finally become free to live fully and joyfully. When you stop chasing success, success finds you. Life has a way of surprising us. So often we spend years chasing after success, believing that once we reach a certain milestone, we will finally feel fulfilled. But the irony is that true success often comes when we stop chasing it. When we let go of the need to prove ourselves, to gain recognition, or to reach some external definition of success, we make space for something much more valuable: purpose, passion, and inner peace. Think about the people who inspire us the most. The greatest artists, teachers, and spiritual leaders didn't achieve success because they desperately pursued it. Instead, they dedicated themselves to something meaningful. A painter who pours their heart into their art, not for fame but for love of the craft. A teacher who changes lives, not for recognition but because they truly care. A monk who owns nothing, yet radiates peace and wisdom. These individuals may accomplish great things, but it is not because they were chasing success. It is because they were fully present in their journey. Buddhism teaches that when we let go of attachment, we allow life to unfold naturally. The Buddha once said, "Peace comes from within, do not seek it without." When we are constantly running toward the next goal, we miss the beauty of where we are. But when we shift our focus inward, When we find joy in the simple act of creating, giving, and being fully present, success becomes a byproduct, not the destination. Imagine a river. If you try to force the water to move faster, it only creates resistance. But when you allow it to flow naturally, it finds its way effortlessly. Life works the same way. When we stop forcing success and instead focus on living with purpose and authenticity, things begin to align. Opportunities come, connections form, and success, true success, the kind that brings deep fulfillment, naturally follows. So maybe the real question is not how to chase success, but how to live in a way that success comes to you. Instead of asking, how can I achieve more? Perhaps we should ask, how can I live more meaningfully? Because in the end, success is not measured by what we accumulate, but by how deeply we live, love, and contribute to the world around us. True happiness comes from within. At the end of the day, success is not what defines our happiness. Our mindset does. We have been conditioned to believe that happiness is something we earn, something we must chase through achievements, wealth, and recognition. But the truth is, happiness is not a reward waiting at the end of a long journey. It is something we can cultivate right now, in this very moment. As the Buddha taught, peace comes from within, do not seek it without. The problem with chasing success is that it keeps us in a state of never feeling enough. We tell ourselves, I'll be happy when I get there. But once we reach our goal, another desire appears. It is a never-ending cycle that robs us of the ability to enjoy the present. But when we shift our focus from achieving more to appreciating what we already have, we free ourselves from this endless pursuit. This doesn't mean we stop striving for growth. It simply means that we stop believing happiness exists somewhere else. It is already here, waiting for us to recognize it. So how do we begin? First, we practice gratitude. Instead of obsessing over what we lack, we can train our minds to notice the abundance in our lives. Even in moments of difficulty, there is always something to be grateful for. Second, we embrace mindfulness. Rather than constantly looking ahead to the next goal, we can slow down and fully experience the present. Happiness is not in the future. It is in how we choose to engage with this moment. Third, we simplify our desires. When we let go of unnecessary cravings and focus on what truly matters, we create space for peace and fulfillment. Perhaps the greatest irony of life is that when we stop chasing happiness, we actually find it. The happiest people are not the ones who have the most, but the ones who have learned to be with what they have. Success, when pursued for the right reasons, can be meaningful. But when it becomes a condition for happiness, it turns into a burden. True happiness comes from a deep sense of contentment, not from having more, but from needing less. So maybe the real question is not how can I be successful, but how can I be at peace? Because in the end, success means nothing if we do not know how to enjoy the journey. The true measure of a fulfilled life is not in what we achieve, but in how present, grateful, and peaceful we are along the way. If this message resonates with you, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment below and share your perspective. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to TT-Buddhism to continue exploring the wisdom of the Buddha and the path to a more peaceful life. Thank you for being a part of our journey.